It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 676, Trainer Talk. How do we eat and exercise daily, with Josh Garrett and Whitney Mueller.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine, joined by two of my coworkers, Josh and Whitney. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hello.
So we're talking about like the frequently asked questions that you guys have gotten as trainers with all of your clients. I mean, how long have you been doing this, Whitney?
About 7 years.
Josh?
10.
Okay. So one of the questions, Whitney, you brought up was, how do you eat and what do you do for exercise? Which is a solid question. Mm-hmm. I feel like anytime I see like Shape or something like that, or these like magazines, it's like, these 10 things that a personal trainer does every day, or the 10 moves a personal trainer does, or those sorts of things. So I guess people are thirsty for that information.
I guess.
if your clients are asking those sort of questions, so I figured that we would answer them of, basically what's your food and exercise look like, and be brutally honest, please.
Absolutely. I'm ready for this.
So Whitney, you go first then.
Okay.
Like typically, what do you eat?
I start in the morning with usually like some type of carbohydrate snack just to get me going. And then I always have a coffee or some type of Celsius. And then
We'll stop there. Describe a carbohydrate snack.
Just something that has a lot more so that it gets me through the day. So I have those little fig bars. I think that has sugar in it too. But the fig bars, or I'll have a banana, or I'll have, that's usually what I have in the morning. Sometimes I have the rice cakes.
It's a real party there for breakfast.
Right, woohoo. I know. Yay. I know, it's not that fun.
I mean, if that's what you do, though.
Yeah, pretty much. I usually just bring it to work right away, so that way I eat it in front of my clients.
Look, I eat rice cakes.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. They're like, cool. I'll keep working out.
So then what after breakfast?
I usually go with my beet juice. So I usually do beets, oranges, turmeric, pepper, and water. And then
that also doesn't sound very appealing.
It's actually pretty good. I got it from First Watch.
Okay, so you purchase it, you don't make it.
No, I make it now, but I got the idea from them. They make some type of like juice drink there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you own a juicer? Is that how you make it?
I do it all through the what's that thing called?
Like a Vitamix kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like a blender?
The little small one. NutriBlend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, NutriBullet.
So you like put a whole beet in there and just grind it up? Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's intense.
And a whole orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like grainy? Like, are you getting like pieces in your mouth?
Sometimes, if I don't put it on there long enough, because it's not actually a juicer.
Okay.
But sometimes, which is gross, but just take it how it is.
All right.
Does it taste like dirt, or does the orange offset that?
The orange offsets it.
Okay.
So what does it taste like? Does it taste more like orange juice? Because
no, the beet you can definitely taste the turmeric. I can't taste the pepper. But the orange offsets it, and the beets, I actually like beets. So it comes in like a package at Kroger that it's already cooked and made.
Oh, nice.
So I don't actually do that on my own.
Okay.
That'll take too much time.
Dude, yeah, roasting beets. I mean, they're awesome when you take them out and they're warm.
Yeah.
Put some like goat cheese on them or something. You
Yeah.
just said you weren't into cheese before we started recording, but that makes it good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah, I've never done it, and I don't really have any desire to.
Yeah,
I really thought you were cooking beets. I was like, man, you were way ahead of the game on this.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you did like a big batch of them, it would be worth it, but they take a while
I usually, at Kroger, it comes in a white box. It's over in like the fruit and vegetables area, the produce, and it is already cooked. I think they have different flavors, but I just go.
They have
with,
like the pickled ones.
yeah,
those are good.
Yeah,
I like those.
I don't like the ones with like the vinegar.
Yeah.
And honey, I think it is too much for me. And the ginger.
Well, yeah, putting that in a juice sounds
I
gross.
tried it. Yeah, it wasn't very good.
So you're having the beet juice kind of like a mid-morning snack, and then what do you do after that?
And then after that, it just depends how I feel. So
and I'm excited to hear
Right?
what's exciting for lunch after beet juice and rice
well,
cakes.
I mean, I'm usually at work for a while. So then I'll usually do like a protein shake, and that's usually bananas, strawberries, protein powder, which is the Amazing Greens protein powder. And then sometimes I do a Go Macro bar if I don't do a protein shake.
So why do you specifically choose that protein bar?
I just have always liked it. I kind of like all the ingredients on the back of it. I like the way it tastes. They have a lot of good flavors. It's easy, and I kind of like the way, like, I think it was a mother-daughter started it, and then it's all plant-based, organic, vegan, everything. So I like everything that they've put into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting some vegan, vegetarian vibes from you so far. I'm not hearing any animal protein.
Not yet.
Okay.
I actually don't do a lot of animal protein anyway, but I haven't gotten home yet.
Okay.
That's all at work.
Okay. Do you have a snack in the afternoon, or do you just bypass that and go the whole afternoon until you get home?
No, I usually eat quite a bit when I get home.
Okay. All right.
So I usually, it just depends on the day, but I'll just list it all. I have the Cinnamon Chex cereal if I'm really hungry and need a quick snack before I let my dog out. I also will dig through veggies and fruits, and I have there's this new dip at Kroger. It's like a cauliflower dip, and they have buffalo and jalapeno. So I'll dip all my veggies in that. Sometimes I'll just throw some fruit in there, and then I go to dinner, which is usually chicken. I sound so basic.
It's eye-opening when you say it all
I know,
out, isn't
I
it?
know. And then, and then I keep I'm trying to think of something bad. Well,
that's not what you do that often.
I know,
That's
but
weekends.
yeah.
I mean, that's more. I mean, that's
Wait
when we're
till the
talking
weekends.
drinking more alcohol is probably your
for sure.
Yeah.
Bush Light.
That's where I'm getting my carbs from.
Yeah, that's where I get all my carbs. Well, I do keep if I need if I have a sweet tooth or something like that, I keep dark chocolate chips, just the ones that you bake with, and I'll just throw a handful of those in my hand and eat that too. For dinner it's usually ground turkey, chicken. Sometimes I do that shredded steak.
Okay.
I always put a vegetable with it, and then I usually put, for a carb, it's either white rice, brown rice, sweet potato. Put it in a wrap. The basic stuff. I'm not too proud of my answers.
And then do you have anything like a late night snack? I mean, you just crack a Bush Light before bed?
No, that's either by the pool or on the weekends.
Okay.
I can't really drink beer during the week unless it's really hot outside and I just need it.
Just need it to cool down a little bit.
I also drink a shit ton of water. So usually I'm drinking about a gallon a day.
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of caffeine, which I'm not proud of that.
But you're drinking coffee too, so it's not like you're slamming Celsius all day.
No,
right?
but it's probably equivalent to it or close to it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think everyone sitting at this table right now
probably
takes in way too much caffeine.
Yes, absolutely.
Probably the three of us combined for probably kill an elephant or something with how much caffeine intake we all have.
With the energy that we have? Or
so much. I mean, I'm drinking highball waters all the time. I'm drinking a lot of coffee. I'm drinking iced Americanos. I drink several cups of coffee before I come here and drink a highball. I know you crank all sorts of caffeine, Josh.
No, not at all.
Yeah, right.
He's like, just water.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I don't feel like out of all the trainers at the gym, I don't really see Aaliyah and Nick doing that too much, or am I incorrect there? That doesn't seem like they're going ham on caffeine.
Leah drinks a good amount of coffee.
Okay.
She has that size that I got today.
Oh, a venti?
Yeah.
But Nick, I think
I told on her.
he tries to go a little bit less on the caffeine.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't really see them with the hauling the caffeine around kind of like I see
I have
the three of
noticed
us.
though that just playing around with my caffeine intake, if I drink less caffeine more often throughout the day, instead of doing like a Celsius, like a 200 milligram, and then I'll get that like whoop and then drop. Whereas if I drink like 100 milligrams or
Throughout
like
the day.
green tea throughout the day, I have more of like this steady state, and then I don't get that like up down feeling. So
How often do you stick to that?
what's that?
Sticking with green tea all day rather than pound Celsius.
It's convenience factor. Right?
Yeah.
So the amino energy, I found that they have like 100 milligrams of caffeine in them.
those are great.
And they don't have taurine in it. Taurine,
yeah.
something. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
So then nothing else. That's pretty much the end of the day as far as food goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty basic about all that.
That's all right.
I mean, it just depends. Like, sometimes I'll go out to eat during the week if I'm asked by friends. And
So if you go out to eat, what do you typically eat? Are you just like, hey, I'm going to nibble on a salad? Or it's like, oh my God, I'm going to get a burrito the size of my face?
sometimes both. Usually, it just depends. I know it all depends. But if we go to like some Mexican restaurant, like Frida's, that place, I'll get a big burrito with like steak and chicken in it and rice and all that. But if it's somewhere that I don't really like, I'll usually get a salad with protein on it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're like earning your calories, right? You're like, am I really going to eat that many calories here?
Yeah.
No,
It's
I'm
like
gonna
you
keep
save
that.
it for a good.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's also too, I don't really go out to eat that much. If, like the experience of like, there's a bacon cheeseburger with cheese curds on it. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. I'm a sucker for like, that sounds crazy. I have to try it.
Yeah.
So I'll do those things too, but it's all, it's everything is a calculation of like, is this place worth it? But some places it's like, okay, I'm going to go ham here.
And then you think about some places, like their salads are all that like wedged, what do you call it? Iceberg lettuce stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that. So I'll just get like can I have protein with rice on the side? Like you just.
Or you'll look at the calories on some of the salads and you're like, well, this is the same as this.
Yeah.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
Might as well get the cheeseburger, which
Right?
I mean, because I don't go out that often, I didn't know they put calories on menus.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, I mean, I like it, I guess, but at the same time, like, because we were at like B-Dubs and they had, the calories on there. And I'm like, if I'm at B-Dubs, there are no healthy choices being made. I don't go to B-Dubs being like, can I have a garden salad? You know what I mean? Like, that's not the
celery?
choice you make when you go there. So I'm like, I would rather be in the dark about how much what
Oh, yeah.
all these foods are. But that's why I'm like, calorie count at like McDonald's or something of like, if you're at McDonald's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. You're probably not making healthy choices.
yeah. And
Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say their salads aren't that healthy either.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's been times where I've had friends, like we'll stop like on the way if we're going out of town or something like that. And, they want to stop at McDonald's and get whatever they want to get. I will stop and get, because I'll still be hungry, I'll get a coffee and I'll get an ice cream. Because I'm like, well, you know what? Like, I just don't like their food anymore. And it upsets my stomach and I feel like crap. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get something good.
Yeah.
Ice cream and coffee.
I haven't had fast food in 10 years now, which
That's
is
awesome.
it's intense. I can't even imagine what McDonald's would do to me.
Yeah.
If I or Taco Bell. I mean, if I were going to go eat at a fast food, if I had to choose one out of just like your standard staple fast food restaurants, I would probably choose Taco Bell. I have a feeling I would just be living on the toilet for a day or just stomach cramps. And
Well, I mean, let's
can't
be
imagine.
clear. When you eat Taco Bell on the regular, it's still destroying your stomach.
I never had that problem. I mean, I would go, when I was like super binge eating, I would not be hard for me to spend $20, $30
Their
McDonald's
beef
at Taco
isn't real
Bell.
beef, right?
No, I don't think anything they got there was good. But
Grade C or grade D or something like that.
I saw a TikTok where they were showing what it looks like, and it's just like mush in a bag. And it's disgusting, but it's like most places that are, especially fast food, if you knew what the food looked like or the process that went into it getting there, you'd be like, I think I'm going to eat some plants.
Go back to that.
What's your go-to if you had a fast food place?
Probably like local, I'd pick Skyline.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Skyline, eh?
Yeah.
I would not choose Skyline. What about you, Josh?
I'd probably go Taco Bell as well.
Yeah.
I dig Taco Bell.
Cheesy Crunch Gordita, a chalupa.
I like their old menu. Like I went there.
That is
I
the
can't-
old menu. It's been 10 years since I ate there, and that's what
When
I
did you
got.
go?
Right, that's what
last.
I'm saying. But I don't know. They just changed it. They got like some dietitian that started working with their menu, and yeah, I went in there and I'm like, what is this? I don't.
They don't have like a 7-layer burrito anymore, any of that.
No, it was. I mean, I haven't been there, and I'm not a frequent visitor of Taco Bell. Let's just be clear on that one. But yeah, I mean, the last time I went in there, it was like I don't even know what these are anymore.
Does Chipotle count as fast food?
I don't know, but if it does, I eat that.
I
a
would
lot.
say yes. That would be my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good question because it doesn't have a drive-through, right?
I
Does
guess
not.
not.
Because
So it's not.
then would you consider like a Five Guys fast food?
Oh.
Because those sorts of places I think are, I don't know, is fast food
Restaurants
got
yeah.
drive-throughs? Because even I worked at Subway forever. My Subway didn't have a drive-through window, but I've seen Subways, which that's stupid to me because I thought the whole purpose was to watch your sandwich being made.
Yeah.
But I would put Subway kind of in a fast food category because, you do the breakdown of what's at Subway. It's not very
Right.
good for
Yeah.
you either. And having worked at Subway and gaining a lot of weight from working at Subway, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think if you go like on a scale, right? You got like your staples, like we were talking, McDonald's, Wendy's,
Yeah.
and then you got like these middle ground that you're kind of like, they could be fast food, but they're a little bit better of a choice. And then you have your sit down restaurants,
Yeah.
and then your 5-star restaurants.
Yeah.
And
Well, I would say like I have like a little exceptions to my no fast food rule, and one of them being like In-N-Out Burger because that's only on the West Coast. That's a vacation thing.
Oh, I've had that recently.
Oh,
That
did
was
you?
good.
Did you get an animal style?
Oh no, I didn't, but my friends did. I tried it.
See,
That's
I
good.
like that. I just
Yeah.
want Thousand Island dressing on stuff. But so that I know it's technically fast food, but it just has a different vibe because it's so like localized. And the reason why it's localized is because they don't freeze any of their beef or any of their food. So they have to be close to a distribution center so that it stays fresh. So I feel like that's a little bit more
right.
time and care thought put into something than a McDonald's. But other than that, I think that's really been my only exception. And I've had that maybe twice in the past 10 years, 2-3 times. So,
Yeah.
So what about you, Josh? What's your daily
Oh, man.
menu look like?
It's all over the place. Usually I do, like, I won't have breakfast as soon as I wake up. That's usually around like the 10 o'clock first break. That could vary anywhere from oatmeal with protein powder to a smoothie. Or if I have enough time, I'll run home and do like an egg sandwich, like bagel, like the everything bagel, cheese. Pretty basic breakfast, but I could eat breakfast food all day long.
Well,
Me
like
too.
seeing that your oatmeal, you're the only person I've seen eat green oatmeal.
It's not green. The bowl's green.
The oatmeal looks green.
No, I know. That's what everybody thinks.
looks
It is
so
not
gross.
green oatmeal. The bowl, it has a white top to it, and then it has a green. It's just the color of the bowl is green. I've had to
I don't know
explain
how,
this.
like,
I don't know
I
how
don't-
many times to people.
How
I'm gonna
it
look at it next
illuminates the oatmeal to look green
Yes,
then, though.
it makes it look green.
And this
but it
is a
not
magic bowl
green.
then.
It is not green oatmeal. It is just straight up oatmeal with some vanilla protein powder on
Do you
it.
always put protein powder in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I'll always put some sort of chocolate protein powder or vanilla. Usually it's vanilla. Meal 2, again, depending on time, would be smoothie, or like I kind of go intuitive eating. So if I know that I'm going to have a jam-packed rest of the day and I know I only have like a half hour to eat, I'm going to get as many calories as I can in that amount of time. So that's where it'll be like Chipotle burrito. That'll hold me over for a while.
Yeah.
And then usually midday snack would be some sort of like protein bar, macro bar, another smoothie if I had time to make it. Usually throw in some sort of green juice with like an Amazing Grass supplement because I'm not a huge fan of veggies.
Is it Amazing Greens or Amazing Grass? I always forget.
It's amazing grass.
I think it's
Amazing
Amazing
Grass.
Grass.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, amazing. I think it's Amazing Grass.
Okay.
And then dinners are fish, vegetable,
Kind of fish.
usually salmon, cod,
How do you cook that? Do you bake it?
bake it.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the air fryer.
Okay. Yeah. Solid.
But I mean, that's not an everyday. Like I had drumsticks last night and asparagus, so throw a little barbecue sauce on it. Popcorn's usually the snack. Cereal sometimes. Popsicles, love popsicles.
Okay. What's your favorite flavor?
Popsicle?
Yeah.
Grape.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah, grapes are good choices. Yeah, and then weekends are just kind of whatever goes on the weekends. Like I don't have really any structure to the weekends.
It's all based around a 30-pack box.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I'm referring to myself.
But no, so like I kind of look at my week and like the weeks are Monday through Thursday. I try to eat as relatively clean as possible. Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I kind of loosen the reins a little bit. I don't like to eat large quantities of food, so that's another thing that I'll go more like high fat foods. But yeah, I mean, there's no real, I don't have the structure of, I got to get this meal and then after this I have to have this many grams of fiber and blah, 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 and all that. Like, that to me just seems like a whole lot of work.
Well, you kind of know it already too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say is like, going through the process of learning food. And I like it that they're putting calories on food and that they're putting, I think that if we just ate serving sizes, it would help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody just, almonds are good for me. Cool. I ate a whole can of almonds.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's not ideal.
All those like wasabi soy sauce almonds are legit.
Yeah.
Oh, those are so good.
That's what I mean. It can get you in trouble really quickly.
You gotta be like 1, 2.
Yeah, because the serving size is like 12.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've done because of my binge eating disorder. Like that's why I'm such a meal prepper and portioner.
Yeah.
Where it's like I would have to take those things and get the mini Ziploc bags and portion them. Otherwise, I can't stop unless I put a stop sign up for myself.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that if everybody just looked at the serving size and just knew the quantity that you were eating and like actually just take the 9 almonds out or whatever it is, and you look at them and you're like, ooh, I've definitely been eating a lot more fat than I thought I was.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
But I feel like, I agree. I'm glad that the calorie counts are on menus. But I think that if you're not in this mindset of kind of where we are and just the experience that we have with that, and being at a level where all three of us can intuitively eat if we need to, like we understand what portion sizes are, and we understand how to like balance a day, that I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of a previous version of myself seeing those calorie counts. I'm not sure they would really mean too much to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't fully understand the grasp or like this one cheeseburger without fries is 1,200 calories. I'm not really sure that would make any sort of difference in my head. Where now I'm like, that's like most of my day's calories. It's bonkers. But like, I'm not sure what percentage of people that don't have health on their mind or putting that as any sort of priority is like really taking in, absorbing that information in the way that it's supposed to be absorbed. It's just kind of like blow that off, whatever. I don't know if I'm correct in that. That feels correct to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think, or it could play like the stress level of the person, right? If somebody is trying to be health conscious and they look and they're like, oh, there's nothing on this menu. Oh, I really want to get this, but I know I should probably get this. And then they have this internal battle with themselves, and it's just like, that's not good either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Yeah, there's so many levels of it.
Yeah.
And is that pretty much you end the day with the popsicle?
You treat myself with a popsicle. Yeah, I mean, it depends. I'm not gonna say that I've never went home and crushed a couple beers as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a rough day.
Heck yeah.
I think you just gotta kind of, I ate like an idiot yesterday, so now I need to tighten it up today, and that kind of thing. Or, man, I crushed it Monday through Thursday. Hell yeah, I'm going out with my friends and I'm eating pizza on Friday. That kind of thing. So,
It's all balance.
yeah, I think it's all this being able to go through whatever your journey is and go through it and kind of like learn from it as much as you can, and then just assess what works for you. And what works for us isn't going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's why when everybody asks us what we're eating, it's like, well, what's your goal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, your goal and our goal ain't the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I'm eating. Like,
Yeah.
you're eating for weight loss. I'm eating to build muscle. Like, that's two different
And we like
scenarios.
different kinds of foods, which is why I really hate when people push meal plans because it'll be like egg whites and oatmeal for breakfast. I'm like, what if you think they're disgusting?
Yeah,
like,
true.
why you're going to just choke this down and then that's not really going to last
And
you
people
very
will.
long.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, I've been guilty of doing that before
Yeah.
when I've done did yo-yo dieting forever and it sucks. And you bail on it because it blows to eat things that you're not hyped about, or from one of them, let's when I did LA weight loss, they're like, you can have 6 wheat thins and you can have 7 grapes. And it's just so sad. You know what I mean? It's just but I did it because that's what they told me to do. And then afterwards, whenever I wasn't following that specific plan, I didn't learn a damn thing about food. I just was told to eat these small amounts of food, which is why I lost 60 pounds in 6 months, because I was in a massive calorie deficit from eating, a dozen chicken wings at a time where I was before. But I do have to have that structure. And that's the same thing with me where people ask me, because I do put my meal prep and stuff on Instagram, and that works for me. And I've been meal prepping for 8 years now, consistently. There's only been maybe a few weeks out of that amount of time that I haven't meal prepped because it messes me up. And I know that's intense. And I know that most people don't want to eat the same thing over and over again. It personally doesn't bother me, but it does. And I can intuitively eat now where I'm at now in my life. But for a long time I couldn't, which is why I started doing that, to kind of rein myself in I didn't meal prep. I didn't count calories or macros for the first year and a half of losing weight. And I'd lost over 60 something pounds. And then I got to the point where you're plateauing and it's okay, well, we got to pull the reins in. We got to figure out a new system because I'm going to sit here now. that weight came off because I had so much to lose.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think a lot of people get messed up too.
A lot.
Yeah. And so you have to constantly reconfigure and you have to constantly experiment and move things around when you're stuck. And sometimes you're going to have to go up in calories and you'll lose weight. And I think that blows a lot of people's minds. And because you're just burning out your metabolism by staying at such a low calorie range. So where I'm at now,
I think you should say that again. People don't understand that.
No.
Yeah.
It blows people's minds.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you started at 300 pounds and you lost 100 pounds, well, that 200-pound person isn't the same as that 300-pound person.
Exactly.
So you have to adjust. You have to adjust everything. It can't just be, well, this is what I've been doing for the last 6 months that's gotten me results. Cool. If it hasn't, if it hasn't done it for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, then you need to readjust it.
Well, you also need to take into account, which most people don't either, that staying in such a low calorie deficit, for so long and you don't take a break, brings you, spoken from experience, then you have to go through a reverse diet, which I did for 4 months starting in the fall. And it's brutal because you just sit there and you keep adding calories where you try to stay the exact same weight. And it's a science where you fidget with your calories and macros every week to just find the breaking point where you'll start gaining. And then you can take it to a healthy calorie deficit instead of most people. I hate the 1,200 number. That's the number of calories for a toddler.
Yes. Thank you.
And so it's if you're burning that level and you're plateaued, in your head, you think, oh, the only way to get it to move again is go lower. And you keep going lower and lower and lower because that's the only thing that will work at that point. And then you're just so fried that at that point, whenever you do have a cheat meal or you do go out, you'll gain 5 pounds. You'll hold on to it for almost a week. You'll cry and you'll be pissed off and don't know what's wrong with me. And it's because you're trained your body to starve itself all day. And when you actually feed it, it's holding on to it.
It's scared.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the processes for me. I never understood any of this. None of this made any I had no sort of idea of nutrition or health or anything for a good majority of my life. And knowing that sort of thing is only, I know because I lived it and I've learned through it. And that's one of those things where I hope people hear that out loud, or hearing us have this conversation and it spark something so you don't have to go through that frustration. But it's one of those things of do you have to live it
I think it's,
to feel it?
True.
And be okay, well, I have to figure out another way. Just you can go into over exercising and realizing that's not healthy either. But you think that you're doing something good for you until you're fried out. And then you have to live through that to understand where you have to pull it back and find more balance between not doing a damn thing and over exercising 2 a days for 7 days a week. So that's one of those things where everything is such experimentation, and you get older every single day. So your body changes every single day, especially being women, hormones, that jacks up stuff for multiple weeks out of the month.
Yes, it does.
And it sucks. So it's like even now, even though I'm such a meal prepper and I'm very structured with my meals, they still change from week to week, even though like this, and I've been doing this thing of eating the exact same thing for 2 weeks in a row, just because it's easier for me. Everything is about convenience with my meal prep. It is about keeping life simple.
Yep.
So like today I was so super hungry, and it's not like, oh, I got to scramble, or am I going to go somewhere? I'm like, no, I already have it made. It's done.
That's good.
I eat it. I know exactly what's in it, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So, and that's where like this week, and every meal that I do 5 meals a day, and each one has a balance of proteins, carbs, fat. And I can tell you exactly where my macros are this week. Anyone listening to this, don't follow my exact macros. I am a different human with different goals, but I'm at 150 grams of protein. I am at 50 fat and 130 carbs. And that's balanced throughout the day. So for breakfast, I have potatoes cooked in olive oil, bacon, which people are freaked out of, like, you're eating bacon? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't eat it all the time, but it sounds good this week. So potatoes, bacon, egg with egg whites, and blueberries. Meal 1. Meal 2 this week, jasmine rice, which people freak out about the difference between brown rice and white rice.
Right.
I'd say whatever you like best.
Yeah.
Whatever
Or
you're going to stay with.
Bananas.
Oh,
Let's
people
just
freak
end
out about
that
bananas.
conversation
Yes.
right now, right? Bananas aren't the problem.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
Bananas are fine.
Yeah, it's carbs and sugar, and like, should you be like eating them all day? Probably not,
No.
but you're not going to. Like, who's going to eat bananas all day?
And again, it's subjective to your goals, right?
Yes.
If you're stepping up on a bodybuilding stage, then okay, yes, you can't have bananas, right? But
Yeah.
if you're just the normal average person that's just wanting to live a healthier life, there's nothing wrong.
I mean,
with a
look at
banana every
monkeys. They're
once in a while.
strong.
Yeah,
They eat bananas all day.
but it's definitely
climb a
like
lot,
just.
they're
I
active.
have so many clients here at the gym that won't eat before they come in. I'm like, just eat a banana. Just have
Right,
a banana.
yeah.
Have like some sort of fuel for your body, and bananas are perfect for that, which is why they give them to you after a race. Of like, get your carbs, get your sugars, and fuel your body a little bit. Yeah, I hate how a lot of foods like that. I'm trying to think of another good example that are demonized. I think bananas is probably one of the worst, like, demonized foods. I'll have to think more about that. There, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to even. No, I even like white potatoes. I think people kind of get freaked out about. You think that it has to be
Yeah.
a sweet potato because you think French fries and you think
Right.
stuff like that instead of, or like, when people think baked potato, they think of loading it up with
Yeah.
bacon and cheese and sour cream. In that case, yes. But that potato is no
bread.
longer potato. It's a vehicle for all this other crap. So I don't know. I feel like people kind of get freaked out about potatoes, not as much as bananas, though.
Yeah.
But sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, when clients come in, they don't eat anything. And then you, like you were saying, like, you just eat a banana. But their workout's going to be shit if they
Right.
don't eat anything. Well, if they don't typically, then that's fine and they can get through their workout. Some people are fine that way early in the morning. But if you don't eat anything and you need to eat something. Like, it's going to get you through your whole workout.
Yeah, that's why I bought those protein bars
Yeah, which is so
upstairs.
smart.
Of just eat something, please, so you don't feel like you're going to faint.
Yeah.
And you don't tell me that until the end of the
Right?
workout when you feel like
Yeah.
you're going to faint. And like, did you eat today? No.
Yeah. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
It actually makes it worse.
And then I think also while we're right here in that conversation, where people think I had a workout, now I can go ham on food. Oh, I've earned these calories.
We're going to go to brunch.
Yeah. Or I can have these 3 donuts. I worked out today.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why you're not achieving your goals. It's like, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Yeah. And so I think that working out, and we're at the point where it's like printed on t-shirts at Target of like, I'm earning my donuts or whatever, like by the workout shirt of like, no, I mean, it's going to probably keep you even.
Status quo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to keep you
Yep.
maintenance.
Yeah.
So there's that. So just to finish what I eat when eating the rest of the day this week is the rice. Again, with jasmine rice and brown rice, I would choose whatever rice you feel is delicious and you'll actually keep eating.
Right.
And I know that jasmine rice or white rice gives people less digestive issues than the brown rice. So maybe that's an issue for
There you
people.
go. Yeah.
But that broccoli, shrimp, and sesame oil is meal 2. Meal 3 this week is turkey, sweet potatoes, and asparagus. And then meal 4 is shaved steak from Kroger that you were talking about. I cooked that in Montreal steak seasoning, and potatoes and green beans. And then meal 5, because I like to have something sweet at night. So I like to have that, like that popsicle, like that snacky sort of thing. This week I'm doing Kodiak cakes with mini chocolate chips in them.
Nice.
And so then you have the protein, you have the carbs, and then you have the fat with the chocolate chips. And then I water it down a ton so I can make a ton of them because I am a volume eater. So I want it to feel like almost like chips. It's like I'm eating a ton of like little pancakes instead of like 3 pancakes.
Are you making as a, like the mix, or are you making like the ones that come in the
the
bowls?
mix.
Or
So
the cups
I
already?
I weigh out the mix specific to my macros because I am being really hardcore, very macro specific right now. So God, I should be able to tell you exactly what it is. It's 1 egg, I think 1.2 ounces of Kodiak mix. Oh, and I have 1.6 ounces of, I'm using the protein powder. I'm using graham cracker, which is my favorite. And then I'm using 0.5 ounces of mini chocolate chips and then water, stir, and then cook it. So that's what I'm doing this week anyway. For a lot of weeks, I do breakfast or oatmeal for breakfast like you do, and I put protein in it. So protein, and I make homemade almond butter, which, pro tip, it's way cheaper to make your own nut butters than it is to buy them, especially like almond butter or like a cashew butter. So you just buy, and plus I like the raw ones better. What?
Nothing. When you made fun of me for those jewels, the pomegranate,
Oh, yeah.
you were like, you don't just make those yourself? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm all about convenience.
But usually those too, I don't feel like they're as good as like, they're just like, because they've been sitting there a while.
I couldn't tell you the difference because I've
You've
never
never had
cut
another
a
one?
pomegranate open and done it myself.
Oh, yeah, dude. I know they're a lot of work, but they're really good. But yeah, I mean, I'll go through the work of making my own nut butter because it's cheaper and I think it tastes better. And again, if you want to like make it more interesting, you can add your own ingredients. Like you could put in some like cinnamon, sugar, honey, whatever
right.
you want to do. But I'll have that. That's usually my go-to breakfast is oatmeal protein powder and almond butter. And
I like oatmeal and green apples with cinnamon and a little vanilla.
Okay.
It's really good.
Have you ever made like
Fresh.
crock pot oatmeal?
No.
Where you can, especially with steel cut oats, but like you put that in there and you put like some cinnamon sticks in there and apples, and then you kind of make like your own.
That sounds
cinnamon.
delicious.
Yeah. It's
I'm all
pretty
about
legit.
cinnamon. I love cinnamon.
Cinnamon is good.
Yeah.
Have you guys done the cinnamon challenge?
Nope.
I've tried it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Nope.
Do you have a video?
It's impossible.
So that covers the food. So then what are your typical, you don't have to go into exactly what you're doing. I would say like how many days a week are you guys working out? That sort of thing. Are you doing total body splits? What's that generalized week of exercise look like? Who's going for it?
Do you want me to go first? I can go first. So I'm sporadic. I'm all over the place. So if I have time, usually I try to get like a Monday, Wednesday in, but then doing the construction handyman stuff on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That usually, digging 12-inch holes, that's going to be my workout for the day.
Yeah. Functional fitness.
Right?
Yeah.
But usually I'll do some sort of like kettlebell squat pattern. My deadlift pattern's been the one that's always been screwy, so I'll do more like corrective exercises for that patterning. A lot of core work. I've been getting into more cardio lately, trying to keep the ticker going.
I saw him run.
Why, did it look funny?
No, I was just shocked.
No, so I used to, I would lift 5 days a week, and that was my cardio because I would be getting those like supersets in and that kind of thing. But given the injury that I went through, 5 days a week was a little hard for me to get through without injuring myself. So then I had to cut it back to 2-3 days a week. And in doing that, I wasn't getting as much cardio volume. So then I had to start supplementing, actually getting cardio in, which cardio gets demonized a lot. That's something that, you shouldn't just do cardio, but you also need to keep your cardiovascular health
Oh, yeah.
up as well. So if you're not doing the supersets or the high intensity lifting, then by all means you should be doing some sort of cardio, whether you're getting on the bike or you're running or walking on the treadmill, uphill, whatever the case may
or just
be.
doing HIIT too. If
Yeah.
you hate cardio, then get it done in
Right.
5-10
20 minutes,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ball slams, ropes, sled pushes, something like that.
Yeah.
But, I think that a lot of people, it's like an all or nothing kind of thing, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't ever do cardio. And it's like, yeah, you do. You just do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Just stop telling people not to do that.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people like to do that stuff. And then at night, I have my, half hour ritual of doing all my correctives, my breathing and meditation and all that stuff. So I usually get that in every night, Monday through Thursday. Again, Friday, Saturdays are a little bit laxed on that. But
Yeah. What about you, Whitney?
Well, I was doing more higher intensity lifting and less cardio, probably towards the end of spring. And then I hurt my neck. And that's just been a whole lot of issues, which I'm figuring out. So I've realized that I have a lot of issues with my core, breathing, and Josh has helped me a lot with that, which really pisses me off. But in a good way. Like, I'm just frustrated with myself. But, if you saw me in the gym today, I was throwing equipment. Not hard, but...
throwing a little temper tantrum.
Yeah. So things usually come easy to me as far as sports go.
Yeah.
So, and in all seriousness, I was just frustrated and I want to be better, but I just wish it would come faster.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody?
Oh,
so
man.
I'm normal.
You're living in my
I'm normal
world now.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to get back to lifting a little bit more. I usually, when it gets hotter outside, not this hot, but I usually like to take 3 to 5 mile runs, maybe twice a week, get outside, do stairs. I like to have a good sweat, so especially in the summertime. Just makes me feel better. But starting to get it back into corrective exercises, taking my time, really, it's frustrating. And then starting to get back to lifting a little bit more. So, I probably work out. It depends, 4 to 7 days a week. Not 4 to 7, 4 to 6. And then I'm trying to do more at home because Josh has mentioned you should look at yourself in a mirror and really notice how your back and your core is. And I'm like, it's really hard for me to do, but I've been trying to do it a couple times a week and then just kind of bring that in to 3 times a week to 4 times a week. And it's usually once a day. So
I fully understand the annoyance of Josh pushing corrective exercises.
And he laughs at you and smiles at you in the nicest way because he knows it's helping you.
Well, I know. It is frustrating, right? It's like we all know what we should do and we want to do it the best that we can do it. And then when we have imbalances, imbalances are things that we don't even know. It's a compensatory movement pattern. Like our bodies have compensated so much that we don't even know that we're doing it. So somebody has to point it out, and I find enjoyment out of that. So
I do too. When I find a client and I'm like, you didn't know that, did you? And then you correct it and you're like, gotcha. But that's rewarding too.
Right.
I'm sure that's really rewarding for you.
Sure. Yeah.
But being an athlete, I feel like we've all been so compensating everything just to do whatever we needed to do during that sport.
Better.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, now it's time to cool it down a little bit and be patient, which is very, very hard for me to do. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I'm in a totally different sort of patience than you. Where I'm starting to be able to ramp it back up.
That's good.
Where, my body's just been jacked up for a long time and I didn't do really any exercise until I started losing weight, which has started with walking. And then I did couch to 5K and I did an insane amount of running, which I didn't have any sort of proper form. And it was like, this is free. I don't want to go to a gym. And so I was running every other day. And then the days that I wasn't running, I was walking up to 15 miles a day. So I was doing, that was towards the end of the first year. I wasn't walking that much. This is when I lived in Oregon because I also lived in the mountains What
You
does that
walking
look
15 miles a day?
for? Sometimes, yeah. On weekdays.
At what kind of pace?
I don't know, 15-minute mile.
15-minute mile.
That's-
100.
So
That's a good amount of time.
So, because what I would do, the reason why that would work is because I was doing a morning show and I'd get home, I'd probably like around 1, and I would come home and eat lunch, and I would just walk until 7 o'clock at night.
Right, so you go for like 2.5 hour walk.
Yeah, so I'd go for like a long walk or hike because I've lived on the side of a mountain.
Which is kind of cool too.
It was awesome. But I mean, I was running then too, because then I just liked doing 5Ks, and then I did a 10K, and then a thing came up for to become a St. Jude hero. My radio station did so much stuff for St. Jude, and one of those things was, hey, you can run this half marathon in Nashville, and at the time I was in Oregon. Yeah, if you raise enough money. And I'm like, I would like to do that. It counted towards our goal for the radio station. So I'm like, oh my God, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And it was a really cool experience because so many listeners donated so much money. Like there's these little coffee stands all over the place there. And one morning we did our whole show from a coffee stand where I was taking donations for St. Jude to go towards my run. And I raised almost $3,000 in just like a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And so then I flew to Nashville and got to wear my special St. Jude thing, get pictures taken, front of the line sort of thing. And that's when I did my first half marathon, which never having been to Nashville at the time, I just was like, oh, that's kind of Midwest-ish, but it's flat. And Nashville's not flat after running 13 miles of it. So for training for that and everything, I was running every other day and then doing that walking and hiking the other days because I would just have all afternoon. The weather where I lived was sunny. There was no humidity. Huh?
I said, your legs are probably tired.
They're very tight.
No,
my calves look banging. I wish the rest of my body looked like my calves. But so like from that stirred up a bunch of injuries because I did have knee stuff. So then and then hip stuff and more of that, whatever. But then last year where I get really kind of tweaked out and I couldn't exercise at all for most of last year. And then I started doing Pilates at Pilates and that helped me to get on the reformer because before even I started coming here, I was lifting 7 days a week. So I was going to the Y and doing a ton of lifting. And then Josh put all of his corrective wagon on me and I hated it because I liked going hard and I don't like stopping and doing breathing. I like to go throw heavy shit around. So I understand the frustration, but it's like, where you just like, that's what's better for you. But for me, it was so psychological to be like, you're going to gain all your weight back. Like you're going to lose everything you gained by stopping. So again, with the calorie thing, I got to keep inching it down because I cannot regress. I have to go in this direction, not that direction. It's the same thing with exercise of like, I just kept getting more and more and more. And as for the first time in my life ever, seeing physical results, like being able to see my muscles, it was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I've never seen this body before. Let's crank it even harder until you break. And then I did. And so now I'm lifting now about 3 days a week, doing Pilates at least once a week. I try to go for walks when I can, which is not very often anymore. But then I usually end like my lifts with some HIIT. So I'll do a bike. I have the Peloton app. I know you do Peloton too, Whitney. I'll do like a Peloton HIIT class at home. So I try to intersperse those, but I do now have some days where I don't have a workout at all. But then I think about working here now at the gym of like, oh, well, I'm up and down stairs and squatting up and down and moving stuff and showing people how to do it. I'm like, this is way more movement than I had working at a radio station sitting on my ass all day. Yeah. So it's good for me to have that for the mental space to be like, you're not doing anything. Oh my God, what a turd you are. You're going to slide backwards of like, no, I'm just moving throughout the day and it's fine. Because it's so much, I don't know, for me, so much of a mental struggle of where do you find that balance between, like, because there's just so much fear of, like, I know what it's like on the unhealthy side, and I just want everything to not be there anymore. And so then but not to peg it to the other and to find the middle ground is incredibly difficult.
Well, I think that's honestly why you have to live it. You know, you have to go through it because you get through both sides of it and you're like, okay, I like things about this, and all right, I can be a little bit more laxed on this, you know, or whatever the case may be, and like figuring out what works for you, I think is, you know, that's the key to it. It's just, again, time and being patient and persistent with it are the things that everybody loves to do, you know?
Yeah, everybody just wants to see results. So fast, but
well, I think it's also important for me. I've experimented with so many different types of exercise. I tried CrossFit. I know I don't like it, or at least where I went. I've tried bar. I don't like it. I've done Zumba classes. I don't like it. I've done yoga classes. Some of them I like. I've done Pilates. On the Reformer, I love it. I don't know about the mat yet. Of like, you know, just trying and experimenting of like, I've done boot camp classes. Sometimes they're okay. Like, and, you know, so it's just, I feel like that one thing of like, oh, I should go to the gym. I got to do this. And there's just one tunnel vision idea of what exercise is, of like, no, just go for a walk. If you like walking, go for a walk. If you want to try running, go for a run. If you want to get a personal trainer, get a personal trainer. It's, I think the experimenting and finding out what truly makes you want to like show up for yourself
for sure
is the bigger key there than, oh, I have to exercise to lose weight. I have to exercise to be healthy. And this is punishment.
But give it time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I think so many people like jump from thing to thing to thing, and it's like you're not.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not seeing results right
You're
now.
just taking a handful of darts and throwing them at the dartboard, and hoping something hits the bullseye. Like you have to give programs some time to work or to feel some sort of difference before, you know, you scrap that program and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So it's always test, retest, but you also have to give it time and be truthful to yourself on if you're giving that true effort, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or do you really not like it, or do you just really don't want to come exercise?
Exactly.
today?
You want to just say, well, I tried all of this stuff and I didn't like any of it. So, you know, there's a balance to that as well.
A good example for me is bar classes, where I took one, I didn't like it, but I'm like, I need to give this more of a solid chance, because so many at the time, this was just a couple of years ago, it feels like bar is kind of chilled out in the popular factor.
Agreed.
But I'm like, I'm going to go to several different classes at different places to really get a good gauge of, do I really hate this? And I do, because it feels like there's knives in my feet, and it's not, it's uncomfortable in a way that, not like, oh, I'm working hard, I'm exercising uncomfortable. It's a pain way. Yep. And so it's like, well, I went to several different places. I took several classes. I feel like I have enough data on that to be like, this isn't my jam. I'm not excited to come back here, but I am excited to go lift. Like I like doing that. Like, so I will show up for that, and was actively frustrated and extremely sad when I can't do that. And I think that's a marker too of like, what sucks about an injury is you get stopped, but it like at least makes you realize like how much you actually loved it. Whenever you were like, oh my God, like why didn't I appreciate that I could do that before, until it's taken away from you. And I think that's an important thing, as long as you take the patience to work back to get there, instead of like, F it, guess I'm not, that's gone now.
Yeah.
I feel better now, up back to 800 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's not the best approach either.
Yeah.
So you just gotta, patience, time. I mean, it's the things that everybody hates, but it's also the things that teach us the most.
Yeah.
You know? So
Doing corrective exercises, like I feel it so much more.
oh yeah.
I mean, like it burns more. Like it's just like, oh, so this is how it's supposed to feel. Like, I mean, just doing the tiniest thing. Like what do you call that exercise with the ball? Just like a ball press? I don't know.
Core activation with the Swiss ball.
Yeah, I don't
yeah. I mean,
well, that kicked my ass.
yeah. Basically just laying in the dead bug position and taking that Swiss ball in between your legs and your elbows, and then pressing into it. And that just activates your core. If you're going to do that at home, don't press to try to crush the ball. You just need a little bit of tension to be able to engage your core, and then back it off.
Is this helping you with your corrective exercise certification?
Yes, actually. And I feel like I am, speaking of that, like doing things in person and being like more experimental with it, like that helps me so much better to learn all that stuff versus just read out of a book.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm that way too. And that's where like a learner too, which Josh can tell you, where I'm like, I want to feel this. Like I need you to move me through the exercise, because it'll that's when it'll like read in my brain of like not only just watching you do it, but if I'm feeling what you're talking about, which I do feel like, I think that virtual exercise has such a great place, and I'm not knocking it, but it's not the same as having a person with you that can guide you through it, that can like touch your body and be like, feel it here. Like that's just the kind of learner I am.
For sure.
And I did Beachbody a couple times. I did P90X a few times through, one of them when I was in Oregon, and one of them when I first moved to Cincinnati. And I'm like, I know I was doing stuff wrong. And then you're trying to like watch the screen while you're trying to do the move. And you're just like, you don't know if you're feeling it right. And you're just like, especially with some of the stuff that they have you do, like get a pull-up bar. Like, what? I don't know how the hell to do a pull-up at home. You know what I mean? You're half-assing it and think that it counts. And
they're doing them like side to side. And
they're doing all sorts of like wild shit on there. And so you're just like, that's where I'm like, I think it's great. And I would say that somebody should move versus not move, but it's just not the same for me as like in-person stuff. I have a really hard time doing at-home exercises. The only exception, and I don't do this a ton either, is those Peloton classes. Like that's a little, I'd actually rather do that than do like a cycle bar. But yeah, that's just my jam. And I feel like if you have spent the last year doing virtual sessions and then you go work with a personal trainer and be like, this is what I did, and see like if they could probably correct you and move you to be like how wrong you probably had it the whole time. Do you think that's a good assumption? Most people are probably doing those at-home exercises at least somewhat
if
off.
they haven't been with a personal trainer before.
Or they're not
because again, like you don't know when your body's moving inappropriately.
Yeah.
You're just doing a squat. Okay, do a squat. And you do a squat and you're like, all right, now do a squat this way and push through your heels and drive your hips back. And it's like, oh, that's where I'm supposed to feel it. Until you have somebody put you in the correct position. It's, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah.
Or even like, and I mean, because I know I personally don't like this, seeing like a video of yourself, which I think is different than a mirror. Yeah. Like I was just telling you like a week ago, Josh, that like Leah took a video of me with a client that was pushing a sled and I was walking alongside of her. And I'm like, God, I'm like, in my head, I walk like a normal human. Yeah. And then I see myself walk and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's wrong with me? But in my head, like it feels and looks correct. Yeah. And so until you see yourself do it, and I think that's true of a lot of exercise, which I know, like for me, I'm like, I don't want to watch myself do this exercise. But it's like, you can even I think that if you don't have a ton of knowledge, you can still eyeball of like, something looks funky there. I don't know what it is, but that looks kind of weird. And so I think that's another layer too. And that's, you just keep going through the motions being like, I feel like I look right. I know what I'm doing. And I mean, speaking from going to other gyms, like going to the Y and watching other people work out, where in their head they think that they're crushing, and I'm like, you're gonna hurt yourself so bad.
Right? You're like, ooh. I mean, it's like me doing a push-up. I mean, gosh, my push-up is horrible, but like watching my like thoracic spine just round, and then all of a sudden, you're like trying to get it down by using your core, and I can't see it. And then I think that's why I threw something today. Because I couldn't figure it out. But
you just need more time.
Yeah, I know. I'm not patient enough.
But I mean, that's also what is so incredibly relatable. I think some people just have this mindset of like, oh, you're a personal trainer. You work to the point of perfection. And it's like, right? I mean, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, I probably would have said that. I mean, I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to hang out with a personal trainer. They're just going to think I'm such a turd human. Like that would be my perception from having not all of the knowledge I have now or the people that I have met. So I think it's good to have these discussions if somebody's sitting an hour in to listen to all
I know. Well, and with nutrition too, like if you're out to eat with friends or family or whatever, and they're like, well, what are you going to get to eat? And you're like,
oh, yeah.
I'm going to get a cheeseburger with ranch and a bunch of cheese. Like, I mean.
The like healthy shaming.
Yeah, they're healthy shaming you. And you're like, I can get what I want. You get what you want.
Right. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's the frustrating part.
I had that a lot working at the radio station is I would like walk into the kitchen and somebody would be at the vending machine and like freeze like a deer in the headlights and like then try to over justify to me that they were buying Funyuns. I'm like, I don't care what you eat. at all. Like not even a little bit. Just don't eat it next to me, please. But like, I don't want to hear the crunching. That's just my own psychosis. But it's like, or just, it would either be that, the over justification, explaining, I don't care. You could eat donuts all day. It's your body, man. It's your life.
Yeah.
Do whatever you need to do. But not only that, but then towards me would be like, oh, come on, just have one. You're fine. Just eat some donuts. I'm like, but I don't want to. Like you're shaming me for not wanting to. Like sometimes I'll eat them, but not today. Especially, again, the choices of sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. There's some crap ass donuts. No, thank you. We got some fresh Holtmans or something in there. That's a yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? You balance it out, and if it is. But I think that the mindless eating gets a lot of people in trouble. I mean, that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother
conversation.
topic.
But, I think that if you're just thoughtful about it and you want to do it, do it. Don't beat yourself up about having a cookie. If it just is one cookie every once in a while, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to go run 8 miles the next day and beat yourself up about having it.
That's why I hate those lists of like all the exercises you have to do to burn off this many Oreos. Like I hate those lists. Yeah.
It's like it's
all about balance.
Yeah. Nice. Well, on that note, I don't. Do you want to throw out the email address, Josh, or if like somebody who's interested in training has any questions?
It's info@Cincy with a Y 360fitness.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
AmandaValentineBites.com.